Welcome to the Mental Path. I'm Dr. Gretchen, psychiatrist. I love taking the medical science of how your brain works, combine it with psychology and real life strategies, and turn it into tools that you can actually use. These are the same tools I use to handle my own packed schedule, also to build resilience and genuinely enjoy my life even when things get hard. You have more control than you think you do. Let's figure out how to use it. Last episode, we talked about exploring your stress, figuring out where it's coming from and what's really driving it. I see this a lot with the people I work with. They do that exercise and realize, well, I'm not even stressed anymore. I just feel nothing, kind of numb. They've moved beyond stress into something different, emotional numbness. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Sometimes we've been stressed for so long, our brain just shuts off. It's like your emotional system went into hibernation mode. So let's figure out what's really going on and why your brain made this choice. Imagine you finished your to do list yesterday. Like you showed up for work, answered all your texts, even remembered to pick up groceries or work out. But when someone asked you how your day was, you just couldn't answer. Not because your day was bad, but maybe because you felt like you weren't really there for any of it. It's like you're operating your life from behind glass, where everything's happening, but you're not actually feeling any of it. Here's what's really going on in that case. Your brain is doing its job. When it turns down emotions, there's always a reason. We just need to figure out what's yours, if it's protecting you from something that needs your attention. When people feel emotionally numb, the first question isn't what's wrong with you. It's usually what has your brain been trying to protect you from? Because numbness isn't random, it's always a response to something. Think of your brain as having an emotional volume control. When the noise gets too loud emotionally, your brain turns down the volume. But sometimes it turns down all the volume, including the good stuff like joy, excitement, or even connection. And that's not a malfunction, it's actually your brain being smart about survival. It's trying to conserve energy as well. But we need to understand what triggered this protective response so that we can know how to address it and what to do about it. I'm going to talk about 5 different ways to think about so that you can figure out where that numbness comes from. Let's start. So, number 1, there could be an overload response. Your brain is essentially saying too much information is coming in and it needs to shut down non essential systems. This happens with chronic stress that never gets resolved. This could be major life changes happening back to back without recovery time. It could be from constant mental stimulation, like always thinking, planning, or problem solving. It's like your phone going into power saving mode when the battery gets low. Your brain is prioritizing basic functioning over emotional processing. You can still work, make decisions, have conversations, but the emotional richness disappears. Like you don't feel it as much anymore. Think of it as your brain's emergency protocol getting into gear. Number 2, what about the brain being in protection mode? This usually comes from tough stuff like trauma, significant loss, major disappointments. Your brain learned that feeling less equals hurting less. It's not that you're choosing to be numb, you're choosing safety over vulnerability. This was actually smart when you were going through the hard stuff, maybe back in the days when the event was actually happening. But the emotional numbness, maybe before helped you survive and keep functioning during crisis, but now your brain is stuck on that protective setting. It's like having a security system that won't turn off, even when the danger is already gone. The problem is, it's protecting you from good feelings too, not just the painful ones. So the joy, the happiness, the excitement, they're also muted. Number 3, what about medication factor? Let's be real about antidepressants, especially SSRIs. These are the most common antidepressants. They can lower the activity in parts of your brain that process emotions. Even though the goal is to dial down difficult feelings like severe depression or anxiety, they also dial down all emotions, not just the hard ones or painful ones. So, yeah, you get less sadness and anxiety, but also less joy, excitement, and passion. It's like it's working too well in some ways. You're stable but emotionally flat. Some people describe it as feeling like they're watching life through a window. This is a known side effect, not a sign that the medication isn't working. So it's super important that you talk to your doctor about this. Number 4, the burnout signal. Your body and mind are saying, hey, we've been running on empty for too long. You've been constantly giving to work, family responsibilities, other responsibilities without refueling or taking rest for yourself. Think of it like a car that's been driven too many miles without an oil change. That's not good. You're not clinically depressed, you're just completely tapped out. There's a difference between being sad and having no emotional energy left. Your system has been in overdrive for so long that it just kind of stopped. It's like your emotional reserves are completely depleted. That doesn't feel good. This usually happens to high functioning people who never allow themselves true rest, so make sure that you're taking those breaks. Finally, number 5, the overwhelm shutdown. We live in an always on world. Social media, news, constant notifications. Your brain is overloaded by constant input and stimulation. There's always something demanding your attention or emotional response, so your brain shuts down non essential functions to cope with the overwhelm. The joy, excitement, even curiosity, they get labeled as non essential for survival. Only survival mode emotions stay online, just enough to get through the day. Again, it's like your phone automatically closing apps to prevent crashing. Your brain is trying to prevent a complete emotional breakdown by going into minimal functioning mode, so you feel numb. Instead of, why can't I feel anything? What about try asking, what has been too much for me lately? Is it constant pressure to be productive? Like every free moment needs to have a purpose, or you feel guilty. You feel guilt when you're just sitting and doing nothing. Rest feels like laziness, so you never truly allow yourself to recharge. You're always optimizing, always hustling, always improving something. That's so much pressure. There's no such thing as good enough. That's even more pressure, where you feel like everything can be better. Pressure might also be like you measuring your worth by how much you accomplish each day. Well, what about when you're carrying everyone else's problems? You're the designated therapist and problem solver for everyone in your life. That's a lot of responsibility. Your family automatically dumps their stress and drama on you. Or maybe your coworkers always come to you with their issues because you're reliable. You spend so much energy fixing everyone else's life that you neglect your own. You've become the emotional support system for multiple people. But who's supporting you? Who's solving your problems? What about a scenario where you're trying to control uncontrollable outcomes, where you're obsessing over how other people will react to things you do or say? Maybe you're trying to manage or control how situations will turn out, even if there's a lot about that situation that is uncertain. What about micromanaging everything because what if something goes wrong? There's also the situation where you lose sleep over things that are completely outside of your control or influence, or you're carrying mental load for outcomes that may never happen. Really, you're exhausting yourself trying to control variables that aren't controllable. Finally, you might be so focused on survival you forgot how to live. You're just getting through each day versus actually enjoying your life. You haven't done something purely for fun in months. That's kind of hard and kind of boring. You can't remember the last time you felt genuinely excited about anything. When we're under so much pressure or feeling numb, life became about avoiding problems instead of creating joy. You're so busy preventing bad things that you stopped allowing good things to be felt, to happen. You're surviving really well, but you're not thriving at all. All right. Painting that picture was pretty heavy. I wonder if you can really relate to one or many of them. Let's figure out what's going on. Step 1, do a timeline check. When did you first notice this feeling anyway? Was it gradual or sudden? What was happening in your life around that time? Were there any major changes, losses, or stress? Now, don't overthink this. Just notice patterns and connections. Sometimes numbness starts after a specific event. Sometimes it builds over time. Really look for themes. Was it after a breakup, after a job change, or family crisis? The timing can give us clues about what your brain is protecting you from. Step 2, check your energy drain. Where is your energy going every day? Make a mental list or even just write it down on paper. Are you constantly giving to others but never receiving support back? Are you trying to control things that aren't actually within your control? What needs your emotional labor from you right now? What's demanding your attention and energy consistently? And this is a big one. Are you saying yes to things that drain you and no to things that might refuel you? Step 3, check your mental input. What's really coming into your brain space on a daily basis? Is it the constant news cycles, social media drama, other people's problems? Could it be work stress that follows you home? Could it be family dysfunction? Information overload from always being on and available can be so much that uses a lot of your mental energy. Your brain can only process so much input before it starts shutting things down. Sometimes we need to audit what we're allowing into our mental space. Finally, step 4, the safety question. This is super important. Is it actually safe for you to feel right now in your current situation? Sometimes we stay numb because feeling means having to deal with something we're not ready for. Maybe feeling would mean having to make changes you're not prepared for. Maybe feeling emotions would overwhelm you when you need to stay functional. Again, don't judge yourself for this. Sometimes numbness is the smartest choice temporarily, but let's be honest about whether this is protection you still need right now. Here's your assignment this week. Choose one area to explore. Don't try to do all 4. Maybe focus on when during your day do you feel most disconnected from yourself? Or maybe pay attention to what you're consuming mentally throughout the day. You could even ask yourself, if I could feel one thing right now, what would I want it to be? Don't try to fix anything just yet. We're just gathering information about your patterns. Think of yourself as a detective collecting clues about your own experience. Just notice without judgment, okay? We're not trying to change anything this week. But if you're ready, move on to the other steps. This numbness thing, it's not permanent, it's information. Your brain is so smart, it doesn't do things randomly. If it's protecting you by turning down emotions, there's probably a good reason. Our job is not to force feelings back online. It's to figure out what needs to feel safer first. This doesn't mean something's wrong with you, okay? You're not weak. You are human, dealing with real life stuff, and sometimes our brains need to recalibrate. The fact that you're even curious about this means you're ready to start reconnecting with yourself. Remember, you have more control than you think you do. But first, we need to understand what we're working with. Start there. Speaking of things our brain do to protect us from difficult experiences, next week we're talking about rumination or overthinking. You know, that thing where your brain gets stuck on repeat. It's going over the same thought, same worry, same scenario over and over again. It's like your brain is a broken record that won't stop playing the same song. I'm going to give you my go-to strategy to actually stop the mental loop, not just distract yourself from it, but actually interrupt the pattern and break the cycle. So if your brain loves to get stuck on things and replay scenarios endlessly, that episode's specifically for you. Okay, thanks for being here and doing this work on yourself. If you're looking for more day-to-day strategies to build your mental health, head over to my YouTube channel. Over there, I'm sharing lots of practical tools you can actually use. And I also dive into mental health lessons from things like K-pop demon hunters. Because honestly, good psychology shows up everywhere. Movies, music, even the food you eat, if you know how to look for it. Keep working on yourself, and I'll see you next time.